atWork Australia would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands and pay our respect to elders past and present. This podcast is being recorded in the southwest and Western Australia, which is land of the Noongar people. We'd also like to pay our respects and acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands from wherever you may be listening from. Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Candid Conversations with Shaun. In this episode, I sat down with atWork Australia job coach Suzan. As you'll hear throughout this conversation, Suzan is just so passionate about her job, and she genuinely, truly cares about all of her clients and wants to support people on their journey to employment. Suzan speaks about her own health challenges and how atWork Australia supported her into the workplace, and how now she is just so passionate and wants to be able to provide that support to others so they can have the same positive experience that she had. So please tune in, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks so much for taking the time to come and have a chat with us on the podcast about, I guess, your personal journey and then also your experience with atWork Australia. We really appreciate you taking the time.
You're welcome, and thank you very much for also choosing me to explain a story.
Yeah, of course. So you're currently working in the position as a job coach, but can you start by
Yes.
explaining to me a bit about your career journey, some of the jobs you've done in the past, and what led you to come to atWork Australia?
Yeah, so in the past, I'm coming from a retail background. I've done it for a very long time, pretty much selling clothes, either for a women's store or both unisex. It's been fun. I loved my job at the time, but it becomes so demanding over the years with obviously heavy lifting. So it kind of like had a bit of an impact on me physically. So when obviously I had started experiencing some problems, I was a little bit concerned because, I did love what I did at the time. So eventually it got to the point where I wasn't able to lift anything heavy anymore, and I couldn't do the job right. So I had to change my career path after seeing some doctors and having some tests done.
Was there a specific moment or an accident that caused these problems for you?
No, not necessarily an accident. It was just over the years of lifting heavy above my shoulders had caused me to have some deterioration in the spine in my neck. So that was enough to scare me, as my doctor had told me after the results had come through that I wasn't able to lift anything more than 5 kilos, 5, 6, 7 kilos maximum, or else I'd have the risk of snapping my neck and becoming paralyzed. That actually destroyed me because I was quite scared at the fact that I knew nothing other than retail life. Growing up, I wasn't allowed to really work. I had a very strict upbringing and I had pretty much no experience in anything else. So that caused me a lot of stress and depression at the time, wondering if I'm able to get work.
Outside of employment, how does this condition then impact your everyday life? The things you do at home on the weekends, I guess you have to be very careful about obviously what you're lifting.
Absolutely. And as a single parent, obviously things just had been a little bit more scary for me because I've pretty much raised my children on my own, and that was enough to, have a lot of concerns come through to me on how was I supposed to support my children and what was I able to do next and what am I capable of? And I've always kind of doubted myself in many areas, actually. It was quite stressful, and day-to-day life, of course, it was very hard. Even though I was told not to lift anything heavy, I was still, as a parent, you kind of like sometimes got no choice.
Yeah, you have to. You have to do things for your children. It's not like, well, if I don't do it, it's not going to get done.
100%. But I could say that everything kind of happens for a reason, I believe. My children are a little bit older, so they are at a situation where they are able to help me. So that kind of had a little bit of relief on me. But also I didn't want to leave everything to them as well. And, I started feeling selfish as well. So that kind of played a bit on my mind as well. But, thankfully I've got very understanding children. But yeah, day-to-day life has been so hard. It hurts because you're thinking, I can't do the things that I normally am able to do or want to do. So it kind of like really set me back a lot. And then I started losing hope as well when I had to leave my job. And then I wanted to apply for baby bunting at the time, I remember. Big mistake. That caused me to have more heavy lifting, even though the company was amazing. Beautiful company, beautiful people that I worked with at the time. But I couldn't go on. I think I was there for about 9 months and I couldn't do it anymore. My situation was getting worse and worse each time. And then it caused me to have 3 slip discs and then ended up having arthritis in my neck as well. So
Oh, wow.
um, yeah, and then I was told that I had fibromyalgia. So with having that as well, it's impacted me so much that there's been times where, I mean, I'm still going through it each day of my life, waking up in so much agony, thinking, how am I going to work today? But after a lot of extensive research with vitamins, I've been taking some vitamins to help me along the way with my muscle, my joints, and pretty much my overall health.
Yeah.
So I'm managing, but I'm still also doing a lot of research because I'm not a one to take medication from doctors.
Yep. You look
Yeah.
into alternative methods. And so tell me,
Yes.
did you experience a gap in employment? Is that what led you to come to atWork Australia for support to find a job?
Yes, it did. Yes. Well, at the time, I was off from work about almost a year. I did have an actual car accident, to be honest. So that led me to not work for a while. I was pretty badly injured, but nevertheless, I recovered and I decided, okay, I need to change my career path. And at the time, I was with atWork Australia. I had Aisel, my job coach. She was so, so amazing. She actually pointed out to me that I would do a good job in her role. And I had asked her at the time, what does it entail? What do you guys do for people? And because I know that she was helping me, and I thought this is something that I want to do, something that's rewarding and helping people. Because I remember when I needed the help, we didn't have any employment services back when I was young, much younger, and whatever I needed to do, I had to do for myself and, go out there and no one motivating me, had to motivate myself. So it was just, overall something that I've always wanted to do to just help people, whether it may be in support working or anything. It's just, helping someone, putting a smile on someone and being there for someone that just needs that little bit of extra help and hand.
Yeah. And how long have you been in the job coach position for now?
In August this year, it will be 2 years, hopefully.
Oh, well, congratulations. I'm sure it
Yeah.
will be. And what is it that you love about your job?
Honestly, I actually love the outcomes that we get from the clients because, you get to experience all sorts of clients each day with barriers, and having to help the clients to be able to get into employment, especially if someone hasn't been in work for a longer period of time. So when we have success like that, that actually makes me really happy, and that
Yeah.
I was the one that actually helped.
Yeah, I know,
So
sometimes, the job coach role, like you just mentioned, you're supporting people to be able to overcome their barriers. So it can be
yes.
a very rewarding position. But I guess at the same time, you're also working with people who are going through a really vulnerable time in their lives and can sometimes be quite challenging. What's your approach to supporting someone who might be going through a really challenging situation?
Well, with what I have been doing, I personally like to get to know my client. I don't like to push them into anything when we first meet. I would like to get to know them, their personality, and what their likes are and dislikes are, and, try and get them to be comfortable with me first. And obviously, understand what they're going through because I believe that some of the clients have explained to me that they have a lot of people that they speak to, but nobody really understands what they're going through. So, understanding is the first part of the job to understand the client's needs and what the barriers are and what's stopping them, and pretty much breaking down what we can actually do to help them according to their barrier.
I guess also it's having a good understanding that's how that person experiences that condition, because everyone's condition impacts them differently. You can't just say because, oh, I've seen another person with a similar condition, they're off doing this. That person might not
Correct.
be able to do that because they have a different experience of the same condition.
Exactly. That's right.
Although the job can be challenging at times, are you able to share with us some of the most memorable moments of your time with atWork Australia?
Yes, my most memorable time, I actually had a client that hasn't been in employment for over 15 years, and she was just so she wasn't responding or engaging very well because she just felt like she wasn't good enough and that she has no experience and what's the point? She was just very unconfident about everything. So I thought I need to have a little bit more time one on one with this client to be able to lift her spirits up a little bit and make her understand that, everything is possible if you put your mind to it. After having a few one on one meetings with her, she was able to understand where I'm coming from because I kind of explained to her about my situation and how I was feeling unconfident and that, I was feeling like I wasn't good enough, but everybody's good enough. And just to make her understand that, she was just so happy that, I was able to understand where she's coming from. And she actually agreed to doing a trial. So I organized a trial for her, and I was quite worried that she may not turn up for the trial for that day. But to my surprise, she actually did turn up, and I was so happy. And when I took her in, she was really, really good at it, and she was quite happy. So to me, I think that was probably so exciting for me because I was able to get this lady to at least do a trial, knowing that she hasn't been in work for over 15 years and she has not done anything at all to help herself. And to be able to, do this for this client and making her believe that she is, worth everything to give it a go. Yeah, that to me was amazing because I just felt like I was actually helping this lady. And when she first came initially, she didn't want anything to do with me. I was new. I was a new job coach to her, and she didn't know who I was and how I was. And I think she was just expecting me to be tough on her. But no, I made sure that I understood everything about her, and getting her to the point that she's even done a trial was huge for me.
And you think because you've had your own personal experiences with your own health concerns, it allows you to build
Yeah.
that stronger connection with your clients?
Absolutely. I really do believe that. I really believe that, if you've been through something, you are able to explain to clients that you really do understand them. And when you tell them that you've been through similar experiences, that they start to believe in themselves as well. Well, if she can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, of course. And it must feel so rewarding when you see this lady, she hasn't worked in 15 years, and for you to be able to
Yes.
help her to regain her self-belief, that's really powerful. Self-belief.
Yes.
Once you start believing in yourself, you
Yeah.
can go on to do anything.
Exactly. I was over the moon about this situation. And for a lady that didn't want, anything to do with me, she was asking if she can hug me. And it was so nice. The outcome was just beautiful.
Yeah. When you meet with your clients, what do you feel
Yeah.
some of their common frustrations are?
Most of the common frustrations are the barriers, to be honest. And a lot of a lack of motivation and confidence, I believe.
What do you
Yeah.
think sets atWork Australia apart?
Working with atWork Australia is probably the most happiest I've ever been in my life because the company is very supportive, and I have never experienced this before. So atWork Australia has been so supportive with everything, and for someone that has had no admin role, and now I believe I'm doing really well. I've come really far, but the support that I have been getting from everybody, not only just the service managers, the bosses, and the colleagues even. When we say teamwork, there's definitely teamwork, and they're always supportive no matter what the situation is.
And what would you say to a friend who is considering working for atWork Australia?
Oh, absolutely come through because if you can get a job here, you'd absolutely be happy. You'd have
I,
so much support.
I could actually hear the happiness and joy about
Yeah,
your job in your voice. It's so
I
genuine the
yeah.
way you speak about it.
I am. I love it. I love everybody that I work with. I don't feel like this is a workplace. It feels more. It feels like a home. This to me has become my first home. It's just the support is amazing.
Well, I'm glad you're having such a positive experience, and by the sounds of it, you're going to be
Yeah,
here for quite some time. So
I
I
hope
wish you
so.
all the best for your future, and I'm sure you're going to continue to change many of our
Thank
clients'
you.
life when you support them on their employment journey.
I hope so.
Thanks everyone for tuning in for another episode of Candid Conversations with Shaun. I hope you enjoyed hearing my conversation with Suzanne, learning a bit about what it's like to be a job coach at atWork Australia and how we support our clients. To find out more information about atWork Australia or to explore opportunities and career paths with our company, please refer to the links in the show notes.